You're sitting in a CIA conference room in Langley, Virginia. It's 1986. Your colleagues are going around the table trying to figure out why every Soviet asset the agency is running has suddenly gone silent. Arrested, executed, disappeared, one by one, all of them. Your colleagues look confused, worried, some of them look scared. You look concerned too. You're very good at looking concerned. You've been selling their names to Moscow for 14 months. Turns out running the CIA's Soviet counterintelligence division is a lot easier when you're also on the KGB's payroll. This is how that started, and this is how it ended. You are 33 years old. CIA officer, second-generation intelligence. Your father worked for the agency, not brilliantly, but he worked there. This is the family business. You joined in 1962 at 21 years old. By 1983, you speak Russian fluently. You've been posted to Ankara, New York, Mexico City. You know how the system works from the inside. You also have a drinking problem your supervisors have noted in your file. Twice. You have a failing marriage, $50,000 in debt, and in Mexico City, you meet a Colombian cultural attaché named Maria del Rosario Casas Dupuy. She is intelligent, sophisticated, and expensive. You fall completely in love with her. Nobody tells you what falling in love costs when you're a CIA officer with $50,000 in debt. It costs more than you have. In 1983, you're assigned to the CIA's Soviet/East European division. Your job? Manage the agency's most sensitive Soviet assets. The people inside the Soviet Union who are secretly passing information to the United States. You know their names, their cover identities, their locations, everything about every Soviet citizen risking their life to help the United States. You know this information, in the right hands, is worth an extraordinary amount of money. You know this because your job is literally to understand what Soviet intelligence would pay for it. You file that away. April 16, 1985. You walk into the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. Not undercover, not with authorization. As yourself, Aldrich Ames, CIA officer, and you ask to speak with someone from the KGB. You hand them an envelope. Inside, the identities of 3 Soviet officers the CIA has been trying to recruit. You're giving Moscow their names so they can warn them off. In exchange, you ask for $50,000. You tell yourself it's a one-time thing. Nobody gets hurt. The KGB pays within weeks. You tell yourself it's over. It isn't over. 6 weeks later, June 13th, 1985, you meet a KGB officer named Sergei Chuvakin at a restaurant called Chadwick's in Georgetown. Officially, you're assessing him as a potential CIA asset. You bring a bag to the meeting. Inside, the names of virtually every Soviet asset the CIA is running. Every person inside the Soviet Union secretly working for the United States. More than 25 names. You hand the bag to Chuvakin, not for ideology, not because you believe in the Soviet system, because you need money and you have something Moscow will pay for. The KGB pays you $2.7 million for what's in that bag. In a single afternoon, you have condemned more than 25 people to arrest, interrogation, and in many cases, execution. You go home, you have dinner, you go to sleep. The KGB moves fast. Within months, Soviet intelligence begins rolling up CIA assets across the Soviet Union with a speed and precision that stuns Langley. Dmitry Polyakov, a GRU general passing intelligence to the U.S. for 25 years, arrested. Valery Martinov, a KGB officer working for the FBI inside the Soviet embassy in Washington, recalled to Moscow, arrested. Sergei Motorin, another KGB officer working for the FBI, same fate. Adolf Tolkachev, a Soviet defense researcher providing classified military data to the CIA for years, arrested one by one, all of them. The CIA calls it the 1985 losses, the worst intelligence disaster in the agency's history. An entire network of human sources built over decades dismantled in less than a year. Back in Langley, you sit in the meetings where your colleagues try to figure out what happened. You contribute to the analysis, you suggest avenues of investigation, you help draft the internal review. You are, by all accounts, a valuable member of the team trying to find the leak. You are the leak. Meanwhile, your life changes dramatically. You pay off your debt. You divorce Nancy. You marry Rosario. You buy a house in Arlington. $540,000 paid in cash. You buy a Jaguar. You spend $30,000 renovating your kitchen. You take expensive vacations on a CIA salary of $60,000 a year. Your colleagues notice. The CIA's security office receives at least 2 reports flagging your unexplained wealth. The reports are filed, not acted upon. Between 1985 and 1994, the KGB pays you a total of $4.6 million. In those 9 years, at least 10 people are executed as a direct result of information you provided. The CIA and FBI form a joint task force. Its sole purpose: find the mole responsible for the 1985 losses. You know it exists. You're still working at the CIA. You have access to their findings. You read their reports. You watch them get closer. 1993, the investigation accelerates. The FBI puts you under physical surveillance. They follow you. They photograph your contacts. They go through your garbage, literally, and find shredded documents that, when reconstructed, contain fragments of classified cables. They find a yellow sticky note in your trash with the address of a KGB dead drop site in Washington. You don't know they have it. You go to work. You attend meetings. You write reports. You act like a senior CIA officer with nothing to hide. In October 1993, the FBI installs a listening device in your home. In November, one in your car. You drive to work every morning with the FBI, listening to every word you say. February 21st, 1994. FBI agents knock on your door at 7 a.m. You open it, they identify themselves. You say nothing for a moment, then, "I don't think I should say anything." They arrest you in the doorway of your $540,000 house in front of your Jaguar. 9 years after you walked into the Soviet embassy with an envelope and asked for $50,000. The CIA officer who spent 9 years helping find the mole is the mole. The damage assessment takes years, at least 10 people executed, dozens of operations compromised, intelligence collection against the Soviet Union set back by an estimated decade. The CIA's Inspector General later concludes the agency missed at least 12 separate opportunities to identify Ames before 1994. He passed the polygraph twice, despite lying on every relevant question twice. Aldrich Ames pleads guilty in April 1994, life in prison without parole. He is currently incarcerated in Terre Haute, Indiana. The $4.6 million, mostly gone. Spent on the house, the cars, the vacations, the kitchen renovation, the life he built on top of the graves of the people he sold. The house was seized by the government, the Jaguar too. The men he named: Dmitry Polyakov, executed 1988. He had served the United States for 25 years. Valery Martinov, executed 1987. Sergei Motorin, executed 1987. Adolf Tolkachev, executed 1986. Their names appear in no official memorial, no wall at Langley, no stars in the CIA's Book of Honor. In 2023, Ames gave an interview from prison. He said he had no regrets about the decision, only about getting caught. He said the people he named understood the risks when they agreed to work for the CIA. Dmitry Polyakov, Valery Martinov, Sergei Motorin, and Adolf Tolkachev were not available for comment. You started in a CIA office believing you were underpaid and undervalued. You ended in handcuffs in your own doorway, having sold 10 lives for $4.6 million and a kitchen renovation. Was it worth it? He says yes. The men he named didn't get to answer. Subscribe. Next week, the Soviet colonel who did the opposite passed intelligence to British MI6 for 11 years and had to be smuggled out of Moscow in the trunk of a car to survive it.